Hey guys, while we are trying to operate any business, one of the most important aspect that any business has to look into is tracking the business numbers, right? And that is very critical irrespective of whether you are a solopreneur or you are a micro enterprise or you are a small and medium enterprise or a mid corporate or a large corporate. Irrespective of who you are, tracking business numbers gets to be critical. Now, how most of the companies do that, right? So, what's the best practice around that? That is the purpose of discussion in today's video. So, any good business needs to track leads, they need to have a detailed understanding of the accounts, and they need to monitor results versus budgets. So, that is the precise reason as to why tracking numbers gets to be so essential. Now, for that, we need to use some modern tools because if we go by those primitive practices, then it would be very difficult for us to really keep ourselves competitive in today's modern world, right? So, one of the most important tool that gets to be critical for having a good sense around tracking of numbers is called the CRM tool, and CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. So there are different CRM tools in the market which you can find out. It's not fair on my part to state few names out here. So you can do your research around that. My objective of undertaking this video is to give you understanding that something like a CRM tool do exist if you had never come across this term earlier, and also to bring focus to the fact that how important it is going forward, right? So, a CRM tool helps in better sales pipeline management. So, whatever sales flow, or I mean to say, the leads come up, and to the extent when it actually get converted into a final sale, it's a pipeline that works, right? So, you need to keep track as to how the pipeline is flowing. So that's very critical, and that is the purpose for which a CRM tool comes into play. So industries have becoming more competitive, and we need to be having things that are different than what we have done in the past, which I've already spoken about. So today we require to share account information with all our with different departments, with our fellow colleagues, and this sharing of information needs to be fast, it needs to be efficient, and that is where CRM tool comes into play. So it helps us to review each stage of pipeline, which I've said, and it looks for developing process efficiencies so that we have more time solving the needs of the customer, right? So the system needs to integrate with other systems in the company. This is something that you need to really uh, keep a sense of. You need to ensure that whichever CRM company you are speaking with, you have to understand whether it would seamlessly integrate with the present system that you have, right? And so finally, to give you a sense as to how a CRM tool helps, obviously it helps with the sales pipeline management, as I said, sorry, but it also helps in forecasting, right? It also helps to get a general market feedback because the sales guys of your team or of the team of the organization which you may be consulting, they place across their inputs, and through all these inputs taken together, we can get a consensus market feedback, and we it also helps us to analyze channel wise if we have a big setup and there are different channels working for sales, right? So we understand for each channel how much is the resource that has been spent, what's the revenue that has been achieved, what has been the cost of sales, and we get information like this. And finally, the teamwork and engagement also plays a key role because information gets to be seamless, one gets to understand where others are working, which had not been the case earlier without the help of these tools. So I would request you guys that please, if you are setting up a business or you already have a business and you do not have a CRM tool or practice in place in your organization, please ensure that you have that on board, right? So I hope it added value to you. Please like, share, and place your words in the comment section. And thanks for going through this video, right? See you next time.